Hi everyone, it's Miss Love and I'm back to help you with your exciting writing. But first, let's practice our spellings. Giant, narrator, pulled, jumped, liked, live or live, stopped, coming, going, and looking. Practice those words every day and then on Friday, test yourself to see how many you get right. For this week's exciting writing, we're not going to be writing a story. We're going to be thinking about writing a description. So let's have a look at this week's picture.
This week's picture is of some different Aztec gods, and it's your job to describe these gods. Pause the video here and talk to an adult about all the different things you can see about the gods. Maybe you could say what colours they are or what they look like. Have a go. Okay, so we're going to think about how to write a description. So a description is when you're describing something. So you want to think about lots of different things that you can see. So you might think about what the picture looks like, so what the character looks like. So you might describe their hair, their eye colour, their outfit, how old you think they are. Or perhaps you might describe how they move. So maybe they creep, or they tiptoe, or maybe they're really fast. You also might want to think about how they speak. Do they speak the same language as you? Do they speak quietly? Or do they speak really loud? You could also be really creative and think about describing what you can't see. So thinking about how they might think or how they might feel, and describe a little bit about their personality. Are they a happy character? Are they a sad character? Are they angry? But remember, the most important thing about writing a description is that you're using those really good describing words. Can you remember what we call them? Yes, that's right. You need to use really interesting adjectives. You could try have a go at this at home by describing objects around your house and getting somebody else to guess what you're describing. Let's use the Gruffalo as an example and try and do one all together. So pause the video here and think about how you would describe the Gruffalo. Think about all the things we mentioned before. So describe what he looks like. Then you could describe how he moves. You could even describe his voice. And maybe you could even describe how he thinks and feels. Are you ready to have a look at a description of the Gruffalo? So here's one I wrote earlier. The Gruffalo had orange eyes and a black tongue. He has knobbly knees and turned out toes. He isn't very brave because he was scared of the mouse. So you can see in my first sentence, I described what his eyes and his tongue were like. And then in the second sentence, I described his knees and his toes. But then in my third sentence, I described his personality, and I said if he wasn't very brave, and I used a conjunction to say why. Now remember, even though it's not a story, you still need to be writing using high five sentences. So you need to use capital letters, full stops, finger spaces, you need to use your phonics, and you need to make sure your writing is nice and neat by using leading lines. I wonder if you could still use conjunctions in your descriptions. to join two sentences together. This might be when you're describing two different parts of the character, or it could be when you're wanting to explain something. I thought I would give you some help on how to practice your spellings at home and make it fun. So you can make your own little flashcards like we do at school and then practice them every day. Or you can practice spelling out the word. So let's start with the word giant. I've wrote the letters on little pieces of paper which I can then put in different orders until I get the right order of giant. And it's okay to practice this whilst looking at the word. Then, once I get good at practicing them, I can remove the word and try to spell it out again, just by using the letters on the piece of paper. That way, I'm not worrying about writing it every time. I'm just doing the spelling. Then, once you get even better at just practicing the spelling using the piece of paper, you can spell out the word and then practice writing it underneath. That way, the word is already there for you, which you have spelt, and then you can practice writing it. Another fun way is to go on a spellings hunt and hide your spellings all around the house, then find them and read the words. They could be anywhere, but make sure you ask an adult first. Another fun way to practice your spellings is to try and find them in the stories that you're reading. So have them beside you whilst you read, and then when you find them, it's a little bit like a game of I Spy. I would love to know if you have any other fun ways of practicing your spellings. Me and Miss Allen still love seeing your homework, so send it to us at onehomework@newbie.bradford.sch.uk. Don't forget to put your name on so that we can give you a big well done. And maybe you could be this week's learning superstar.